Hey NCU students, I want to take you through just a couple of questions that are on this week's case study 2. This is for week 2. This is the Coffee Anyone case study. Specifically, I want to go through just a couple of things that are a little bit, maybe a little kind of confusing. So question 1, part B, it says draw the box plot for the data, showing the median upper lower fences, and use the 1.5 quartile range approach to identify any outliers. Well, let me help you out with that one. Then we're going to talk about the calculating the weighted average total output per day. I'll just give you a quick rundown on that. So let's talk about this box plot and creating it, and then the 1.5 interquartile range. Basically, I'm going to give you a little bit of that. We're not going to worry about the 1.5 interquartile range approach necessarily. All right, we're going to do it a little bit more efficiently this way. So this is not your exact table from your assignment for this week. This is last week's, if you remember, the top 20 grossing. So what we're going to do, we're always going to use, when we figure out the quartiles, I just suggest you always exclude the median. Now here's why. When you exclude the median from the calculation, and there's a special quartile function used to do that, I'll show you how to use it in a minute. By taking that median out, there's going to be fewer data points to do the calculations for where the boundaries of the fences are. So the quartiles become more spread out. There's fewer data points, and so the quartiles become more spread out. Remember, that median for most data sets is not even a real number. They're located in they're not even a real number that's located in the data set. For example, we're going to find out that the median, I think, for this data set was like 849. Like, that's not even a real point here. It's called an interpolation. Okay, it's called like a ghost number, if you will. It doesn't really exist. It just gives you an idea of exactly where the middle point would be. But the middle point doesn't really exist as a piece of data in this data set. So removing the median from the quartile calculation gives us a better estimate of the real quartile boundaries because there's no artificial number. In fact, I better spell quartile correctly, otherwise you guys are not going to catch me on it. Let's see, quartile. Because it gives us a better estimate of the quartile boundaries because there's no artificial number, that interpolation, that ghost number I was telling you about, to kind of skew the data. All right. So with that in mind, here's how you do it for this data set. So we're going to use, there's two options: exclude, include. Exclude median, include median. Let's exclude. So you identify the data set. We want the first quartile, so put a 1 in there. Boom, $748 million is the first quartile. The median, you can do this two different ways. You can use the median, or since how we're talking about quartile today, we use the quartile, same array, and this time we're going to ask for the second quartile, or the median. Okay, 849. So 849 is not even a real number here, but it is the middle number between this end and this end. All right, and then let's go ahead and do the third quartile real quick. Boom, we do that, and put a 3 in there for the third quartile. Gives you the fence, or the boundary, for the third quartile, which is $1,084. $1,084,000. Sorry. Okay, so you can see 849 is not a real number, and these numbers here would change. The first quartile, third quartile would change if we used this. I'm not going to do it because you can do it for yourself, but if you use this number right here, then the first quartile and third quartile numbers would be different because they're including that fake ghost real number, that interpolation called the median. Okay, so now let's talk about creating that box and whisker plot. Fairly easy to do in this version of Excel. And I think if you guys have the most recent version of Excel, you're all good. So what you do is you start with gross million, highlight the whole column, because Excel's smart enough when you're creating a chart to know that that first row is probably the label. You go to Insert, you go to Charts, and you go to All Charts, and looky there, box and whisker. Click on it. Got yourself a box and whisker chart. Okay, so now let's play with it a little bit to kind of fancy it up a little bit, make it look reasonable. So you notice when I checked on this and you go to format, let's go like here. You go to format chart area. Okay, you see that? If you guys know how to use Excel, you got this. Click on the actual chart itself, the box and whisker, and you're going to get this little icon showing up where you can modify the series. See, you can make it skinnier, larger, whatever. Okay, so we're going to go with that for right now. I don't really need to see the mean. You can leave it on your chart if you want to. It's up to you. And by the way, before I forget, let's turn on data labels because I like to see them. You don't have to again, but I like to see them when I'm doing the real work with this. And that's the way you should look at this. How would you actually use this in your place of work? And think of it like that. So come over here. I'm going to shut that mean marker off. I don't really need it. This is showing me the outlier points, which is up here. 1,649 is an outlier. I'm going to shut it off. I don't really need to see that. And now I can either go inclusive mean or exclusive mean. If I use exclusive mean, you'll see that the numbers first for the first quartile, second quartile, fourth quartile, and third quartile all match right here. Okay, so there's the min point, max point of the range, first quartile boundary, median, and third quartile boundary. Use exclusive. Okay, just in practice, just use exclusive. Okay, that is the question for, let me pull it back up here. That's this question. Let's go look at question 3B. Already getting questions about what is the weighted average total output mean per day? Like, what is that really asking for? Let me help you out. I'm going to do one of them for you, not all of them, so you get an idea. All right, so I forgot which. This is like the first chart. Okay. So what we're looking at is this is actually one of the charts from this week's assignment for week 2, and it shows by day for this particular week the number of employees who worked each day, and then the output per day that those employees produced. Okay, so 5 people to produce 570 pounds on Monday, etc. All right, so how many average employees worked per day throughout the week? So it's the average, Monday through Friday, the average work probably is actually, it's 4.00. So what is this equal to? 20. So it's equal to 20 divided by 5 is 4. All right, so that's pretty simple. So on the average, 4 people worked each day throughout the week. Similarly with the total output per day, there was a total of 2,305 pounds made for the week. So you divide that by 5 and you get the 461 number. You also get that by just doing the average. Okay, so what that means is on the average 4 people work per day, and for that week, and on the average 461 pounds are generated for that each day for that week. All right, so the weighted average is something that's fairly simple in this case, but it's the average total output qualified by or weighted by the average number of employees. So it's really nothing more than taking the average total output per day and dividing it by the average employees per day. So that means 115 pounds, 115.3 pounds was the average output per person each day for that week. Okay, hope that clears up the mess. Hopefully I didn't muddy it up anymore. If you got a call on that, please, or if you have a question on that, please be sure to give me a call, and I will look forward to talking to you later. Thanks.